Hi lovely, you're welcome back again. This is Dotman Stitches. Today we are going to learn how to make this lovely bubu gown with sleeve. So beautiful, as you can see, it is a trendy bubu gown. So let's start. Thanks. So this is fabric I'm using. I'm using half yard of this fabric and the 4 yards of this Ankara fabric. So that's the two fabric I'm going to use. Now first thing, I will open this Ankara fabric. I will consider the full length gown of the client. So I measure from the shoulder to the floor length. So this one I'm working with is 53. So I open this fabric. I take the tape and I measure it 2 times. This 53 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. So that is 54. So I measured 54 in 2 places. This is the one, and this is another one, 54. Now I cut it out. So this one is the front part. So this is the closing side, and that's the open side there. So I started taking the measurement from the center front to the shoulder, which is 15 divided by 2, that is 7.5. Then I come down with 1 inch and I slanted it. Now I took the normal measurement, which is the amount divided by 4. So this one is 8.5. I mark it out. I connect the line. Here I curve out the amount. So from here, I took the measurement of the bust, the quarter of the bust, then I had 1.5 seam allowance. I connected it with ammo. So this is the waist measurement. I took the waist measurement, the quarter of the waist measurement by 4 also, and I just add 1.5 seam allowance also. So I moved to the hip line. I took the quarter of the hip and I had 1.5 seam allowance also. I connected it to down side. Back to the neckline. From the center, I measured 3.5 for the width and 5 inch for the depth, plus half inch joint part, that is 5.5. So I connected it in form of round shape. So I started cutting it out. I cut out the slanted shoulder slanted, and I cut out the neck side. Now this is the back piece. I lay the back piece, then I leave just 2 inches for the seam allowance for the back piece, because it's going to have fitted bubu. So I now place the front on the back piece. So I trace it exactly the front is there. I cut it out. So for the back piece, I started measure the neckline. The width is the same thing as the front, which is 3.5 also, but the depth is just 1.5 inches. So I connected it. So now I went ahead to cut it out. So I draw with the front and the back now. So the next thing, I'm going to cut out the lining for the front. So I already cut out the lining for the front and also for the back. So this is the lining for the back. Now I went ahead to measure. So that's the neck from the shoulder to the downside, because I want to adjust the slip line. So I measure from the downside here. I measure 18 for the slit because it's going to have slit at the back. I mark it out. So that's where the slit is going to stop. So I went ahead to shape the slip line just to reduce that space. So that is the specific side. I went ahead to cut it out. So after cutting it, so that's the slip line and that's the slit place. So I took it to the machine and turn it. Now for the front alone, because it's going to have something band on the front, so I have to place the front on the plain fabric to cut it out exactly the neckline is. I cut it out like that. Later slanted the shoulder like that. Now I shape it the sign that I wish it to be, so I just shape it like that also. So after tracing the pattern, then I just cut it out. Now I will place it on top of that main fabric. So I will stitch it around before I now use lining to turn everything from the right side to the negative side. So I will just place it and stitch it, then use lining to turn it to the negative side. So this is it. I've done it already. As you can see, it just use lining to press it. I've turned the lining also. Now at this point, I'm going to take the dart. So I'll just take my tape, folded it into 3 places to target the nipple to nipple, which is the nipple to nipple is 8 inches, So that's divided by 2, that is 4. So place my tape from the shoulder, target like 10 inch, like that. So from here I will mark 12 inches. That's where I want my dart to stop. From that place I will just take the dart space for the both fronts. So that is the nipple which is 8 divided by 2, that is 4. So I'll just pin it, then I'll take it to the machine. I will now take the darts for the front, and I will also do the same thing to the back. So this is the back. I've already inserted the shape. This is the shape. And this is the slit for the back also. So I've turned all the sides, and I've already inserted the dart also for the back, both left and right, as you can see it. Now I go ahead and place the front on top of the back. So this is the shoulder. So at this point I will just leave the shoulder. I will not join the shoulder. I firstly measure the bust measurement, and I will also measure the waist measurement and the hip measurement. Then I will mark it out. So that's the shoulder. I didn't touch the shoulder for now, just leave it. That's the bust measurement, the quarter of the bust. So you just mark it for the bust. So now I move to the waistline and mark out the quarter of the waist. So joining it to the bust. Now from the waist, I move to the hip line. So I took the quarter of the hip also, then I mark it together with the waist. Now when I move to the down side, I will just remove 1.5 inch from the hip measurements for the bottom. For the down side, I will just remove just 1.5 inches so that to make it to be pencil a little bit in down side. Let's assume your hip measurement is 20.5. So when you get to that side, just mark like 19 inches. Then now connect it. Now I take to the machine and sew the both left and right. Now after stitching it, this is the outlook. So this is the front side. So you can see I've already joined it. Now from the shoulder, I just mark out 22 inches. That's the hip line. So I mark it out. That's where I want to place the sleeve, that cow sleeve. Then I mark out like 4 inches. After marking from shoulder 22, then I mark out 4 inches for the side inward. As you can see, it's for 4 inches for the side. I use the chalk to trace the line, so that's where I'm going to insert the sleeve. I did the same thing also to the back. I placed my tape from the shoulder. I took the measurement of 22 also. Then I mark it out. So this 22. Mark it out. So that's the hip line. Then I started marking also for 4 inches for the side. It's going to be in the front and the back. So I did the same thing to the other side, upward like that. Now this is the 2 pieces that I cut out. So this one is length is 50 length, because I mark out 22 from the shoulder. So for the front and the back, that is 22 times 2, that is 44. I now have 6 inches to it. So that's how I cut the piece out. So this is 50 now by 17 width. So these are the 2 pieces. I'll stitch all the side like this, only one side for you. I folded 1 inches and stitched it, and I also did the same thing to the other one. So this is the second one. I folded like 1 inches also, and I stitched it like that. Now I'm folding it into 2 equal parts, then I will notch the center. So I just notch that center. I will do the same thing to the second one also. I've folded it into 2 and I notch the center. Now this notching part, now I'm going to place it on the 22 inches that I mark out from the main clothes. So this 22, I open the seat so that to be easier for me to place. So I open it and I check where that 22 is. Now I place that notching part. That's the notching part, then I place it on top, then I will pin it down. Now stitch it from the up like this, back to the other side, from the side. So that's the front. So that's why I did not join the shoulder, so that it will be easier for me, if you can see it now. So I will be stitching it now like this. Move back to the back side. I mean from the front to the back side. I'll stitch it all around like that. So I have to take my time to be doing this. So as you can see the shoulder, so I place it like that. So now I'm just plating like 2, 3 or 4 plating for the shoulder side. So just plating it. So this is it. I've already stitched it. So at this level I want to join the shoulder now. So I mark out 8 inches from that side, and I notch it. So that's it is, and this is the front and the back also. Now I'll be pleating it one, just two like that. When I get to the notching place, I will just stop there. So that's the notching side. I will just stop, then I pin it, because I will stitch it like that. Now I go ahead, I do the same thing to the back also. So this is the front. Take it to the machine and just stitch it like that. So I move to the back also. So from this back, I will just drop the lining that I'm going to use to turn the back to the front. I will not touch the lining. Then I will be pleating it like that also. 1, 2, 3. So this is the line that I drop out. I will use it. I will not stitch it with the pleating because I'm going to use it to turn from the back to the front. So now I will stitch that side also. Now I will now use that lining to turn from the back to the front now. So if you can see it, that's the lining that I'm going to use to turn it from the shoulder. Then I will stitch it around like that. So you can see, so I will go and stitch it right now. So now I've joined the shoulder with the two shoulders, as you can see it. You can see it's so beautiful. Now for the other side, I just use one inch to fold it all around. Now for the sleeve, because it's going to have pencil sleeve, so this is the sleeve. So I'm going to cut out both two together. So I've folded it like this. Now I started taking the measurement. So this is the length of 13 plus 1 inches, that is 14. Then half for joining, that is 14 and a half. So I mark out the capillaries, which is 5 inches. I connected it with the center like this. Now I mark out the measurement, the armhole measurement, which is 13 divided by 2, that is 6 and a half, plus 1 and a half seam allowance. Then for the down side, I mark out 6 inches. Now I connected it. So I'm going to cut it out. So I notched the center front. So these are the two sleeves. Now I will folded this one with 1 inch. I folded it like this and I stitch it. I apply it into the two sleeves and I stitch it like that. So after stitching it, so I went ahead to place it on the armhole, turn it to the normal side, which is the front. Then I inserted it inside the armhole on the main fabric, the armhole of the fabric. Then I pin it down for the joining side there. So at this point I will stitch it all around the armhole. So just stitch it round like that. So this is it. So I'm done with sleeve, everything. You can see it. So lovely. So as you can see. So now, subscribe, like, and share it. Thanks so much. See you in the next class. Bye.